Greetings and salutations, listener. It is the boy to talk to you about WWE's Survivor Series for the year 2015. Or 2015. I lose track. Here with me, as always, when we talk about wrestling, or at least almost always, is Billy. Say hi to the people, Billy.
Hi, people.
And before we get any further, as always, don't forget to do all the various YouTube things, and don't forget to check out Super Blizzard's stuff. His shining results on Let's Get Hardcore is our theme music. He's a super nice guy, and he gave it to us to use. And he makes super cool video games like Joy Lancer that you should look at and buy and play because they're super cool. Now that we have that stuff out of the way, so Billy, Survivor Series. What would you say is your general opinion on it?
I thought it was a very good show. A lot of people have been bitching about it, but I thought it was perfectly serviceable.
I had some thoughts before I saw the show because of the delay of the zoo. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch the show till Monday, and I looked up the results because I figured some of the results that could happen would make me very mad, and it was best to be mad beforehand so I could watch the show with an objective eye. I think that was ultimately a good call on my part, but it did give me some opinions going in. One of which was, holy shit, why wasn't there more wrestling on this wrestling show? Looking at the match times from Wikipedia, there's only about 85, maybe 90 minutes of match in this 3-hour extravaganza. And having watched it, I saw where the rest of the show was. Commercial breaks. What the fuck?
Yeah, I never quite care for commercial breaks during it. They could do backstage segments, interviews and shit for that.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna give them shit for having, like, Triple H and Shawn Michaels sell merch, or, whatever the current thingamajig is. Or even having them talk about, man, these Stacker energy drinks sure are good. That's fine. That's part of the show. It's just a straight up fucking commercial break I kind of have a problem with. And that kind of took me out of the show a good bit. The rest of it was just video packages and the stuff they always have on pay-per-views to keep you caught up. I'm not super, none of them were super necessary for me this time because I haven't really been watching the week-to-week shows, but I have been keeping up more. But I think they served the same purpose they always do. Catch you up for the people who like me, literally just watch the pay-per-view. But still, that's not a lot of wrestling for this pay-per-view.
Well, I gotta say, when I was watching it, it felt like more. Looking at the times here, yeah, at least under 2 hours, and that is odd.
Yeah, and you know what? You're right. When watching it, it feels like more. Honestly, they were pretty efficient with their usage of the time, but they also didn't have a lot of time, and it does show through in a couple points. For instance, off the top of my head, obviously we usually go through this thing in order, but I do want to mention this basic, just because it runs as a theme throughout the whole night, as far as I'm concerned. The Brothers of Destruction Wyatt's match could have used 10 more minutes. Could have used 10 more minutes badly. But then again, by then Kane and Taker probably would have been super gassed out, so...
Yeah, they're unfortunately up there. It's probably best to not take them any further than they need to. Somebody mentioned, the combined age between those two was 98.
Yeah. So, I mean, I understand that the tournament format had a lot to do with how rushed it felt because they had to get so many matches through. So, that's why it felt more like wrestling, because there was a lot more matches than usual. At least as far as I can tell. And so, each one had the entrance and the finish and the celebration and blah, blah, blah. So it felt like more. It sort of gilded the edges.
Yeah. And, but they could probably have done both. As there's, a celebration going on, cut to that, panel they have. And so the person, having fun in the ring, after the Survivor Series match, and then cut to, while they're celebrating, cut to the panel.
Yeah, they probably could have squeezed that in and then added some more wrestling. Fun facts about the timing. One, the longest single match was on the pre-show. 18 minutes for the pre-show Survivor Series tag match, which I did not watch as usual. The second one was the Survivor Series match. The Survivor Series match on the actual show got less time than the one on the pre-show. Let's see. Other interesting facts. The next longest match, the Divas title match. The Divas title match was, I believe, given more time than the Undertaker, Kane, and then Wyatt's family match. It was given more time than the World Championship match or any of the matches in that tournament. It was given more time than anything except the Survivor Series match itself. That's really fucking surprising.
Yeah, although to be fair, it's like 14 seconds longer than one of the tournament matches, and the final should be somewhat shorter because it is both characters' second matches of the night. Continuity-wise, they should have a little less in the tag.
Yeah, you're right, it is only 14 seconds, but that's an important damn 14 seconds. Because, I mean, the Divas title match got that much time. It's about, honestly, it's even more than they usually get, and such a packed pay-per-view, I'm surprised they didn't cut more of it to give the other matches more time. It just speaks, to some really positive things.
Yeah. They've really given the Divas a sign of approval that they're trying to sell them. They closed out the Raw previous to Survivor Series.
That's awesome. I did not know that. That's actually really cool. I like that they're trying. Let's go this match by match like usual. Did you watch the pre-show?
Yes, I did.
Well, how was that? Was that good?
It was alright. The main problems with both Survivor Series matches was that there was no actual build to either of them. They were just kind of, oh yes, we'll have them. But there was no information as to even who would be in it until the show started, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, it was listed as TBD until literally the results were out last night. So, yeah, there wasn't any as far as I knew.
Yeah. Also, I will say, Stardust, The Miz, and Bo Dallas, they worked oddly well together in that match. They were just double teaming and quick tags. They were pretty amazing as a trio.
Well, that's good. I'm actually really happy about that. I can't speak to it, honestly, because I didn't watch it, but I'm glad it was good. I'm glad it was as good as it could be given the situation that it was in. Any other thoughts on it?
No, but it's cool to see that Goldust is back.
That is... wait, Goldust was in this? I didn't look at the... Yeah. Oh, yeah, there he is. Neat. I honestly didn't even look at the results, because I don't care. But, Roman Reigns versus Alberto Del Rio. This was a perfectly serviceable match. There was a few moments from Reigns that were a little weak. There was a few moments from Berto that were a little weak, but overall, I'd say this was a solid match. Wouldn't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and this one actually got match of the night by a couple of different critics.
I don't know that I'd say that, to be honest.
Yeah.
My match of the night's probably different than other people's, though. And I'll explain when we get there. I don't have anything against it. It was perfectly serviceable. The right guy went over, so we're happy there.
And what did you think of the crowd reaction? I thought that it was at least like 70 to 80% were on Reigns' side for once.
At this point, he has solid like John Cena a few years ago before John Cena really got to 50-50. He has the diehards marks who hate his fucking guts and always will. They've just decided they hate him now. He's their enemy, so they're always going to hate him. But the rest of the crowd seems pretty well behind him. I like that even though he's kind of a heel, I think maybe Alberto Del Rio still got a pretty big pop for CCC, which really proves that the fans will literally chant anything remotely similar to the yes chant. But yeah, I'd say in this match the crowd was pretty solidly on Roman's side for the most part, with the diehard holdouts who, fucking hate his guts.
Yeah.
Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens. Unless you had other thoughts on the first Reigns match.
No, not really. Ambrose versus Owens it was a good match as well. I would say about the same quality as Reigns versus Del Rio.
So would I. Owens is playing more to his typical style here, but unlike usual, I didn't hate Owens in this match. I think Dean Ambrose is a really, really good opponent for Owens because it helps give Owens like a sense of like dynamics that he doesn't normally have. He was playing to his normal, I am Brock Lesnar, only Canadian thing, where I believe he actually at one point said Chinlock City, bitch, which was just, whoo boy. But you know why another reason I didn't hate Owens in this match at all? Motherfucker made me crack my shit up at least twice. He was being really funny with his fucking he's doing his like a motor mouth thing in the match where he was mocking Ambrose and mocking the fans and basically mocking the whole situation, and it was actually really it was on point. It was good. It was entertaining. It was good heel work, and it was funny. Then there was the other thing that made me crack my shit just completely up so hard that my roommates actually became concerned for me because I still have this cough that will not die, so I was laughing and coughing so hard that one of them brought me tea. It was, he's doing a top rope move. He was doing some sort of top rope move. Ambrose pops up and runs at him, and Kevin Owens delivers a fucking completely irony-free, genuinely terrified, oh no! It was literally, oh no! And it was great, and I laughed for 30 solid seconds. I don't know what happened next in the match. I was laughing so hard. It just caught me perfectly. It was fucking hilarious.
I think Kevin Owens definitely has the ability to win me over in the end.
I mean, yeah, and that's a lot coming from me because I have been very critical of him very publicly, but that match, he was fucking entertaining in. I will not lie.
And I wonder if he wasn't trying to be extra on point, because I don't know if you heard, but he actually got into a small Twitter spat with a celebrity during the week.
Really? Who?
If you would call it a celebrity, I don't know. I would consider her a celebrity, but Melissa Joan Hart.
Oh, what did him and Sabrina the Teenage Witch have to fight about?
Well, she tweeted, and this was poor wording on her part. She called Kevin Owens lazy, and what she meant was that his booking was lazy. But all she said was Kevin Owens was lazy, and that understandably sparked something in Owens, because that's who Owens is.
Yeah, fucking, alright. I might not like the guy's current gimmick, but you can't take hard working away from him. Jesus fuck, he's worked hard.
Yeah, like I said, it was poorly worded on her part.
Also, hold the fuck up. Back this train up a bit. Melissa Joan Hart watches wrestling?
Yes, she does. That is just weird as hell, isn't it?
That's so charming. That's adorable. I love it.
It was adorable up until Kevin Owens fans got, shit-headeried. That's not a word, but fuck you. And threatened her and her family.
Oh, yeah, no, wrestling fans are not happy people. They are almost universally unhappy with their lives and angry. So if you piss them off, they're gonna make your day really bad. Oh, that's a fun little story. So yeah, maybe he was extra trying extra hard to be entertaining because fuck Melissa Joan Hart. If so, thanks Melissa Joan Hart. You got a really good match out of Kevin Owens. Maybe more celebrities from 10 years ago should call him lazy. That'd be great.
And to be fair, Owens
Yeah, he always is. I can never take that away from the guy. He's good. I just don't like his gimmick. But I mean, that was I had to make a lot of positive statements about this match. I had to make a big deal out of it because holy shit, I think that was the first time Kevin Owens has made me just crack my shit up.
Oh no!
Oh no! It was so genuine. It was Oscar worthy. It was a beautiful thing.
I wonder how unpredictable Ambrose really has to be in that ring to get that genuine of a response that Owens didn't know that was coming.
I mean, I honestly think it was acted. I think it was like an acted line. But hoo boy, that was a good line. I don't have anything else to say about the match. Do you?
Well, what do you think about Owens or like Ambrose advancing?
What do I think about what?
Ambrose advancing in the tournament.
Oh yeah, no, that was fine. Either one of those guys winning would have been fine. Just two different. It would have made a different main event. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with either decision, really. I'd have been mad if Owens won the tournament, but that's neither here nor there. All right, so next match is my match of the night.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. And I recognize that is not the popular opinion on the internet, but I don't give a fuck about the internet's opinion. The 5-on-5 Survivor Series match between Ryback, the Usos, and the Lucha Dragons versus the New Day, Sheamus, and King Barrett. Holy fuck, that match was just the best time. I think it was probably partially because the Kevin Owens extravaganza he put me in a really good mood. But this fucking match was a laugh riot. This match was a good time from beginning to end. And it actually served to make me less mad about the ultimate result of the main event. Because I already knew the ultimate result of the main event, but this match served to remind me something.
What's that?
I fucking love Sheamus. I forget about it because he's a really good guy. He's a quality talent and he's underrated. And I really like his current troll killer mohawk thing he's got going. But last night when I was just reading the results, I got legit. I'd say I got pretty butthurt because I'm just fucking tired of them yanking this poor dog. I'm yanking Roman Reigns' chain. It's just. It stopped being entertaining for me, and I got pretty salty. But this reminded me how much I genuinely fucking love Sheamus, so I can't hate on him getting a nod,
Yeah.
Spoilers, by the way, for the pay-per-view that happened last night that you should have watched if you're watching this breakdown. But Sheamus walks out of the pay-per-view champion. But this fucking match, this Survivor Series match, was a damn good time. This was fun wrestling. This was like one dragon away from a Chikara match.
It wasn't a bad match. I think I mostly had a problem with the New Day just walking off. It just felt like it was supposed to be something, and it kind of...
I think that's the announcer's fault, actually. I can understand why you have that opinion. I think it's the announcer's fault. I think they made too big a deal of it, in that they kept talking about the New Day might come back, so it created the expectation that they might, and then when they didn't, it kind of dashed that expectation. They should not have done that. That was not good announcing. Talk about how the fact that they just walked off and abandoned Sheamus, that's fine. Talk about that. Don't talk about the New Day. Don't talk about maybe they'll come back. That's not... You don't plant that seed unless it's going to come to fruition.
Yeah.
But, I like that the New Day just walked off. It very much fits their character. They figured with Big E gone, they were probably going to lose. Sheamus had been a douchebag all match, who stepped on their lines and didn't know and didn't know how to be cool, and blind tagged in Big E and got him eliminated and all that. So fuck Sheamus, we're gone. That very much fits with the New Day.
On his own.
Yeah, Sheamus wants to be a douche. Fuck him. We're just gonna leave. That very much fits in with the New Day. And it was hilarious the way they decided to do it. there also is the fact that I really fucking like the New Day. And I really like the whole bit with the New Day. The Usos being back is nice because they've been gone long enough that I'm no longer tired of them, so they're back to being very entertaining to watch and very fun and dynamic. The Lucha Dragons were the Lucha Dragons. They're luchadors. They are what they are. Ryback was... Oh, that moment when he did the top rope thing, and everyone in the audience was like, oh god, he's gonna kill them all. Ryan's gonna kill every one of them. We're watching a massacre. I believe JBL said Ryback had the falling trajectory of a thrown couch. It's fucking hilarious. But this match was fun. This was my match of the night because it was so goddamn fun to watch. It was entertaining. Everyone there was there to to have a good time. The New Day is always a great way to make an entertaining match for me at this point. I just love their gimmick so much. And because there wasn't a build, I didn't have to care about the WWE's awful storylines. I just got to watch a good wrestling match. So I just got to watch a good wrestling match.
Yeah. It's a fair way to look at it. And this New Day walking off still just kind of knocked it down a bit for me.
I can understand that. I totally don't disagree with that point. I understand why that takes away from it for you. It just doesn't for me. I was having a great time. Yeah. Divas match. Oh boy. I don't know what to say about this match, because it wasn't bad, by any stretch of the imagination. Which, the thing is, I didn't expect it to be, because Charlotte and Paige are both really talented wrestlers. So I didn't expect the match to be bad, and it wasn't. Good job. But at the same time, it also wasn't anything to write home about.
Well, and I agree. It wasn't bad. It was good, but for me, there was kind of a disconnect between what the story was and what the story of the feud built into it and the story of the match. Because I don't know how much you know of the build to this.
I watched the video package. That's what I know. Whatever was in the video package is what I know.
Okay, well, what they left out of that was the majority, the big news of their, big contract signing on the last Raw, where Charlotte was getting into how much her family meant to her, how they all had fighting spirits and whatnot, and Paige decided to, Charlotte brought up Reid Flair, her dead brother, and Paige went with, something akin to, well, he didn't have much fight in him, did he?
Oh, damn! Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking harsh, bro!
And now, think of the fact that the match started with a collar elbow tie-up. It should have been a fucking wild brawl.
Hey, dude, no, for a Divas match it was. For a Divas match, it was a flat-out brawl.
Eventually, but when that's the last thing this person said to you, are you going to tie up or are you going to punch him in the face? Are you going to not wait for the fucking bell to see her and get it going,
Yeah, no, you're right. That does make a kind of a disconnect between how the match started, but I'm willing to chalk it up as they wanted to wrestle a good match, and one of the ways to do that is to start low and build throughout the match. So the storyline went a little bit by the wayside to help build a solid match narrative, and I can't hate on that.
Yeah, I think this will probably be my match of the night.
I can get behind that, don't get me wrong. For me, it wasn't anything to write home about, which is sad because these are both really talented divas, really talented wrestlers who I like watching. Maybe it was something about the ring chemistry or the match story. Personally, I would like to see Paige go over by cheating, just because I think that's probably a better result at this point.
Well, now, here's interesting in how they've continued it. The end with Charlotte getting figure 8 on her, and I saw this, but I don't expect WWE to bring something like this up, but Charlotte was under the bottom rope. Paige brought that up tonight and said, you fucking cheated.
Oh! That's a nice little wrinkle. I imagine it was just an accident on the night, but it's nice that they gave it a nod.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm not. I can't hate on this match, and I'm super happy that it exists because it's two really talented wrestlers wrestling. Yay! There wasn't a Bella in it. Double yay!
And there won't be a Bella for a little while because Nikki's out with, I forget what the injury was.
Well, I'm sad about that. She didn't need to be injured, and she's just like I don't wish bad things upon her. I'm just tired of seeing it. But this match it didn't grab me. Is the easiest way to explain it. It didn't have my attention. So, like the aftermatch. As I may have said, I don't know if you heard me. Once they dropped the ticker tape, even a blind person could have seen what was coming. You know?
Well, honestly, the last time I saw the ticker tape drop that I can remember was WrestleMania 20. So no, I probably couldn't have seen it actually.
It was just so over the top. It was so over the top that it became really obvious something hinky was up.
Fair enough.
But I like that they gave Roman that moment, and they eventually did have him interrupted with Triple H coming out to give him the Stone Cold shakes Vince's hand moment, and then Roman Reigns did the I am a face, so I will attack you instead, my boss moment, which was good. They gave Roman a few minutes to do his Shawn Michaels, the boyhood dream comes true, his iteration of that. But it was all solid work. It was, nice, very good for Roman, very, nice to see, all that stuff. And then the Sheamus thing happened. I like that it took 2 broad kicks. That's pretty cool. That's a good way to sell Roman.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoy Sheamus. The Survivor Series match reminded me how much I enjoy Sheamus. So I can't hate on the Irish Kickman coming away champion here, because all that really means is the next 3 months is going to be Sheamus Roman Reigns.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I don't necessarily mind his cashing in, and I don't necessarily mind Sheamus. I'm happy that this seems to have worked in getting Reigns more over, because I don't know, maybe my memory is screwy. Someone told me that they were indifferent to Reigns and cheering Sheamus. You've seen him more recently. What was the crowd reaction in your opinion?
I would say they were 50-50 during the Ambrose Reigns match. I would say that the Reigns fans, they don't cheer so much. They chant. They're chanting Roman, which doesn't really come across very well on TV, but it's loud if you're paying attention. And I'd say they were kind of in stunned mode, whereas the smarks who hate Roman Reigns were dancing in the streets.
Which is hilarious because really they don't care for Sheamus either.
Right, but as they spent 2 months with Bray Wyatt mocking these people with, it's anyone but you, Roman. Anyone but you. They spent a solid couple months having Bray Wyatt just straight up mock these guys.
Well, and they continued it. I forget who else said it. It might have been Triple H that kept it going by saying anyone but you. Because he offered Reigns earned the number 1 contendership, then Rollins got hurt. He offered Reigns the chance to be immediately into the final, and Reigns turned him down.
So, anyone but you.
Yeah.
They're gonna turn that into a meme. WWE is gonna make the Smark chant against Roman Reigns into the heels chant against Roman Reigns to turn the other people who like Roman just fine even more against the Smarks. They seem to be intentionally trying to create a war in their fan base because wars make money.
which would be great if they did choose like somebody to represent the eye mark, as I call them. I don't call them smarts anymore. It just doesn't fit them.
Just because they're not smart? Is that what it is?
Basically, I mean, the term smart meant smart mark. It just meant a mark that knew business wasn't work. But we all know that now, and I feel like somewhere along the way they heard smart mark and began to feel that it meant that they were smart about the business.
Yeah, they knew shit.
Their own shit.
Yeah, they're kind of high on their own supply at this point. They've taken the name Smark as instead of being, the kind of derogatory term that it was for a long time, they took it as like a badge of honor. Like, yeah, we're smart, we know the business. No, asshole. At this point, it just means you're bitter and cynical.
Well, and I mean, let's be fair here. They do have a very legitimate gripe. They have been an underrepresented segment of the audience, but they've just kind of they fell so far cynical and bitter that it's hard to feel too much sympathy sometimes.
They are underrepresented. They're underrepresented because they hate the WWE, but they continue to watch their program. And they're underrepresented because they're a minority. They are a very small section of the audience, so of course they're not going to cater the show towards them, because that doesn't do them any financial boon.
But at the same time, those rabid fans do give the loudest reaction. So you could take a guy that maybe doesn't, like Cesaro, that is one of their favorites, that is, good, that you want to bring up, you want to present to the regular mark as something big, and you could use the smarts to help that person, but for whatever reason, they never try.
Vince hates them, near as I can tell. Hates them and just likes destroying everyone they love. Which is hilarious, because it's become very adversarial in that the more they boo Roman Reigns, the more likely I think it is that Roman Reigns is going to get pushed.
Yeah.
Because Vince does not like these people. They actively piss him off. At least as far as I've ever been able to tell.
Well, I do love it. Like, every time Reigns gets something good and the fans are cheering him, I kind of rally with Vince. As rare as that is, I rally with him. Fuck you people. I feel sorry for you, but at the same time, you're for the most part throwing a petulant hissy fit. You don't enjoy Reigns, so no one else is supposed to get it.
And you know what? I think that's a very accurate term. Petulant hissy fit. If you don't like it, I mean, end of the fucking day, no one's making you watch. There's a lot of times I don't like wrestling. You know what I do? I don't fucking watch a show. I don't buy tickets, very expensive tickets, by the way, to the wrestling show for the sole purpose of shitting on it. It seems so backwards to me. I barely watch the show for the purpose of shitting on it.
Well, that reminds me, Road Dogg was on Twitter tonight, like, defending Survivor Series and defending Raw. And one of the things he said was, and he was very cheery, very happy about it. Like, if you're not interested in what we're watching, that's fine. Go watch Ring of Honor. Go watch Lucha Underground. You'll be back.
Oh, shots fucking fired. I mean, he's right, they will be. But shots fired.
But I loved how cheery he was. He wasn't bitter about it. He just
knows.
Be back.
You'll be back. You can't live without... Look, the diehard, dyed-in-the-wool WWE watchers, I'm not going to call them fans because some of them are super bitter. They're going to fucking be back. They're not going anywhere. They've bought the ticket. They're in for the ride. The whole ride, regardless of how long or short it is. They'll be fucking back. Well, I say. They're not fucking going anywhere. There's another reason Vince doesn't bother catering to them, because he knows he doesn't have to. He can do everything they hate. He can literally do stuff they hate every pay-per-view for the rest of time, and they will still buy fucking tickets to the next pay-per-view.
And like, Lance Storm also got a shot in on a fan. Like, he brought up tonight that they didn't have, side sites for Sheamus himself yet. And one of the fans was snarkily going out, well, that clearly said it was a last-minute decision. And Lance was like, just think you're smarter than that, or something like that.
That's what they want you to think, and you think you're too smart to fall for their shit. When Vince has proven time and again, you're not too smart to fall for his shit. If he's actually trying, you're gonna fall for his shit. He's very good at his shit.
That's the thing, and I get Vince is sometimes out of touch, not always making the decisions we like. I'm not saying they're perfect.
No, oh god, no. Most of the time, the decisions he makes piss me off.
But the thing is, you can never say Vince McMahon doesn't know what he's doing. He's been doing this longer than we've been alive.
I mean, I can genuinely say I don't think he knows what he's doing, but that's because I think the guy's going senile. I genuinely think he's going, like, he's losing it.
Is that entirely possible? Like, how old is he at this point?
I mean, he's fucking ancient, and he said more than once that he's going to die in his chair, so he's not going anywhere. I genuinely think the dude's losing it. But, like, he is still pretty good at his job in terms of he gets what he wants, and he doesn't really give a shit about your opinion.
Well, he's only 70. I mean, that's kind of high up there, but a little surprising for a guy that's usually into taking care of himself. I suppose genetics might play a role in no matter how...
I don't know, dude. He's still kind of a gym rat.
Yeah, he is.
He's still in the gym, like, all the time. He's still, like, if you see him, he's still super fit for a guy his age. He's in real good shape. I just don't understand some of his decision making to the point, and more so, I watch wrestling my whole life, basically. Some of his current decision making doesn't make sense with what Vince 5 years ago would have done, let alone Vince 10 years ago. And it's the disconnect between what he would have done previously and what he is doing now that makes me think that something is amiss. Something is amiss in the kingdom of WWE.
We'll give an example. What have you seen in recent times that you think you would have done 5 years ago or 10 years ago?
Previously, he was a lot more willing to push new talent and be unsafe in pushing new talent. Because he's still willing to push new talent, but he does so in an incredibly safe way. And I don't mean PG, I mean, like, he's unwilling to take risks with them, he's unwilling to, give them a push unless they, as he put it himself, in his own words, grab that brass ring. He's unwilling to push new guys and new talent to the same extent he was even 5 years ago.
It's difficult for me to fully comment as by and large, throughout my life, I haven't been able to see wrestling on a weekly basis, so I can really only get into deep conversation about the last couple of years.
And that's fair. That's and I mean, I might be entirely wrong. Obviously, I'm a complete outsider to the business. I don't know from fuck. Someone who's actually a part of the wrestling business might tell me I'm being retarded, and I'd be more than willing to, as long as they were actually part of the WWE. I'm not going to take the word of some indie booker douchebag. But I'd be willing to take that feedback. But as far as I'm able to see, dude's kind of losing his shit. Like, not going crazy, but he's losing the touch.
And that's fair. He definitely has been leading on older stars. Like a rumor about a couple months ago, like last year, 14 months or whatever, was that Triple H had to push for Roman Reigns to win the Rumble and go to Mania, that Vince wanted The Rock.
Yeah, and that's kind of what he does. He loves part-time stars because they bring in extra buy rates. Because he stopped seeing the business and started seeing a business, if you could catch my meaning there. They give him better buy rates on that individual show. They make more people watch that individual show, despite the fact they don't add anything to the program as a whole. And Vince used to care more about the program as a whole, at least as far as I can tell. Again, this is just my own opinion. I usually don't push that sort of wishy-washy shit as much as I am here. But again, I don't know from fuck with wrestling, really, so I might be entirely wrong. But I have to call him like I see him, you know?
Yeah. Well, and he's still very much involved with making all the decisions as far as we can tell. I forget if it was this year, last year, but he was still, producing the commentators during the show. because there was a late SmackDown that came out before it was all touched up and whatnot, and like there was a moment that didn't get edited out of Michael Cole. You want me to, hype Cena's going to be on the show later? Haven't I already done that like 15 fucking times?
Awesome.
And there was a beat, and then you heard Michael go, "Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir. I'll do that right away." I don't know what was funnier, that Michael stood up or that he was immediately beaten back down.
Yeah, that Michael Cole was like, "I'm headed up to here," and Vince immediately went, "No, you'll fucking take it up to there. I'm not done with you yet." "Yes, sir. Of course, sir." But I like that he stood up in the first place. I want to find that now. I want to find that clip and watch it and laugh and grow a little bit more fond of Michael Cole. Because the overproduction of the, and that's again another change from Vince even 5 years ago, more so 10 years ago in this case. The ridiculous overproduction of everything, the ridiculous iron grip he has on the commentators and on the wrestlers. That's not an old school thing. That's very much Vince taking sort of reins and more control, where you don't, classically in wrestling, you don't do that. You let the commentator do their fucking job. That's why you hired them to be the commentator. You let the wrestler do their job because presumably that's why you hired them to wrestle the fucking match.
Well, there was some production on the commentators as early as the 90s. I know that much, but I don't think it was quite to the point that it is now. Like, recently there was a story of Tony Schiavone, Ronnie, whatever, during his brief stint in WWF, where he noted that McMahon had too much respect for Gorilla Monsoon to pull that shit on Monsoon.
Yeah. Because, Gorilla Monsoon would have literally slapped him in the fucking face for it, I imagine.
He always seemed so gentle to me. I can't comment on that.
Yeah, well, fucking, that's because he was old.
It's like only within the last few years that I realized Monsoon was a wrestler at some point. Even though I'm sure he mentioned it several times. He just always seemed to be so gentle and soft-spoken, and he just never seemed like a wrestler.
And you know what? That's probably really true, but he was also very old school. And that kind of disrespect probably would not have gone over well.
Yeah. Although, that is one of the stories that, for all of McMahon's fault, I love that he is loyal almost to a fault. Like, when his father passed along, he was told, take care of, the boy, the employees that had brought him to the dance. And so he employed Monsoon, he employed Monsoon's kid. That's why Kevin Dunn will have a job until, Vince dies in his chair, and then Stephanie and Triple H will fuck him out the door.
Pretty much. But yeah, no, Vince is loyal. Like, so long as you're willing to dance to the McMahon fife, Vince will fucking take care of you. But
you have to kind of sell a piece of your soul sometimes.
Well, he is also Satan. Let's be real. The guy is also the Blues Devil. But sometimes the Blues Devil does give you magic powers.
Yeah.
Or at least very good at rock and roll. Or more typically blues. But, that's about all I had to say about the show, and then 20 extra minutes of me bitching about internet people. Of which I am one. I recognize that. I just hate the rest of them.
Well, it's like I said, they have a legitimate gripe, and they should be catered to some more, but...
They have a legitimate gripe, and they should leave. Because that's how you get things done in capitalist society. If you're not happy with the product you're being given, stop fucking buying it. Vote with your wallet. Don't buy merch, don't go to the shows, don't pay for the network. If you don't like it, stop watching. That's not me being an asshole and saying, well, if you don't like it, you can go away. No, I'm trying to give you genuine advice. If you're not happy about Roman Reigns getting pushed, stop fucking watching Roman Reigns getting pushed because they only care about how much money you give them. They don't actually care about your opinion. They care about your wallet because they're a business. If you don't like it, fuck off and they'll stop eventually. Then you can come back. Or enough other people do like it that they'll never stop because they're making money off those other people, in which case the show's just not for you anymore, dude.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. The WWE has never been for adults. I mean, I agree wrestling ought to be edgier and adult-oriented, but the WWE has always, on some level, been garnered towards a younger audience. So on some level, these IMARs that complain about it, they're especially watching Teletubbies and complaining it's not a dark, gritty reboot of a Nolan verse.
Well, to be fair, in this particular instance, Teletubbies used to be really dark and gritty and cool, and then they took that away. I understand why they're mad, but that doesn't change the fact that at this point they're not changing anything. The only way to get them to stop doing this is to get people to stop paying them to do it.
And even then, why can't they just go, this one small part of the show, it's just not for me. Why does Cesaro have to be in the main event for the world title for them to be happy? I remember fucking watching Chris Benoit, and I had resigned myself that he was never going to get the world title. But for me, the main event was whatever by Our Lady Chief hit the fucking PA system. That's when the main event started for me. And there might have been some shit later, but that was the main event. I was going to be happy because I saw him,
Yeah, I mean, that's a much healthier way of looking at it. Be watching wrestling for the people you like. Now, some of it is similar to the opinions that we have, in that they are very concerned about backstage stuff in the same way that, I kind of am. And they're very sure that they know who deserves to be over, who deserves to, be given titles and such, because they recognize that those guys make more money. So they know who deserves to make more money because they're the people they like. I admit I have some of that. I try to avoid being a hypocrite whenever I can, so I have to be aware of the fact that I do that myself. But it's the shitting on other people's good time angle of it that I don't get. Because there's stuff the WWE does that makes me mad too, but I would never go to a show and intentionally boo all the faces and cheer all the heels and be a shitlord the whole time just because I'm mad at what they're doing. Because all I'm doing is shitting on the rest of the audience's good time. If I didn't want to, play in and enjoy being part of the crowd and enjoy being part of the show, I wouldn't fucking go to the show. And you can tell that because I don't go to the fucking show. Also, they're really expensive. That's the part that gets me. Is when they, be mad on the internet all you want. Ultimately, that doesn't hurt anyone's enjoyment of their program. Ultimately, it doesn't harm anyone's good time to be mad on the internet. Unless they go find you, in which case I'd say that's more their fault. But, don't go to a fucking taping of Friends and boo every time Phoebe comes on the show because you hate Phoebe.
Oh, she was a bitch. Oh, that's funny. Well, and with the IMARs, and they're thinking they know things, I realized, just today, that talent is really secondary towards the success of a person. Marketing is the biggest thing. People complain that, Reigns isn't talented in the ring. He's not good on the mic. He's only chosen for his work. One guy recently complained he didn't pay his due. And I'm like, you just described one of the guys that had the biggest drawing match of the Attitude Era. Goldberg.
Yeah, and Goldberg was an actual asshole.
Yeah.
Everyone says Reigns is a super nice guy. But like, yeah, I mean, you're right. You're entirely right. Talent is secondary to who gets over with the fans, and that's not always talent driven. Because Cesaro is probably one of the most talented wrestlers in the business today. His work is amazing, but he can't get over and stay over. I mean, that's partially because they keep giving him terrible fucking gimmicks. Let's be real. But
yeah, I mean, a lot of WWE's problem right now is not Roman Reigns and Cesaro. It's not anyone's talent. I don't think it's just not good booking.
Yeah, their talent's amazing for the most part. They have a really good stock of dudes, at this juncture. It's their booking is fucking just really awful. But all this amazing bitching aside, all the two angry assholes yell at the internet. Aside, I liked the show for the most part. The fucking Undertaker match aside, I liked the show just fine. What about you?
Yeah, I liked the show. I thought this was probably the bare minimum for, say, a big four. Like, it didn't have that amazing big holy shit feeling at some point, but it was a good show. There was good matches. It was the bare minimum of what a big four should have been, I thought.
Yeah, same. I think that wraps us about up for the evening. Do you remember your line?
I remember my line. Everything's better when two nerds talk about it.
Oh, so close. Fuck it.